So hi everybody. So for anyone who's joined late or somehow missed earlier, I'm the network coordinator, one of with Steve Brewer, and I'm just going to run through all the details and logistics of the call, and then we can have the panel Q&A with the whole team. So this funding call is a little bit different to the typical funding calls you might have expected from the other Network Pluses you might have been a part of. So this is a funding call to help us produce our landscape report. So as Vicky mentioned, at the end of our 3-year term, we want to produce this big report laying out the roadmap for the future of blood testing. And these landscape reports will form a big part of this. So it's really important to mention that these reports aren't just literature reviews. So we are looking for a good systematic review of the key literature in the area you choose, but we are also looking for interviews with key stakeholders and an analysis of the combination of that information to identify gaps and provide recommendations. So the report's going to have 3 main streams. So Vicky covered quite a lot of this, so I won't go into too much detail, but our main streams are future blood testing in healthcare practice, remote blood processing and monitoring, and ICT data analytics and AI. So all of these streams and the details on the slide are listed on our website and in our guidance document, so you can see in detail what needs to be covered. You can apply for an entire stream if you want to exhaustively try and cover one of these areas, or if you want to focus on a specific part, you could also apply for a particular part of a stream. So for example, if you know a lot about ethics and you really care about that, you could just apply to look at the ethical implications of remote blood testing as part of the overall ICT data analytics and AI stream. It's really up to you. So in terms of money, you can request a total spend of £25,000 at 80% FEC following EPSRC guidelines. So this is important to understand. So basically what this means is that we will fund 80% of your project. So we can fund you maximum 20k for a maximum application of 25k, and then your institution will need to cover the other 20%. So if you did apply for 25, we'd give you 20. They'd need to make up the other 5. So this is standard practice, and universities know this, but obviously you'll need to get institutional approval, and I will cover that in the application bit later. So it's really important to note that 25k is the maximum the project can cost, and we would expect proposals for that amount to be for a full stream. If you're applying for part of the stream, then obviously we'd expect the money to kind of reflect the coverage of the report you're offering to do. Time-wise, your full project duration can last up to 18 months. They don't have to last that long, it's up to you, but the main thing is to demonstrate how they're going to fit within our timelines and match up with our milestones. So these are our timelines. We want projects to start by the 1st of May, with contract signed, etc. And then there'll be 3 iterations of the landscape report. So one in November 2022, one in March 2023, and one in November 2023, which will be the final copy. So we're going to align review workshops with the due dates of each of these iterations, and we'll work closely with you to advise on the reports and work out what needs to go into each new iteration. Application-wise, so all of the documents are going to go up onto the website tomorrow morning, including our application form and guidance document. So the application form will cover all the topics listed on this slide. So you need to detail your topic, how much you intend to cover, so full stream, partial stream, details of the head of the project and the overall team you've got, and how long you would expect to spend on the project, with a Gantt chart that details your timelines and how the project can fit into our timescales. And we do also kind of expect to see a justification within the team that you could actually cover, the areas that you're saying you're going to cover. So we do ask for track record, just so we can see that you actually know about the areas you're wanting to report on. We want to see a skeleton outline of the areas you'd cover in your report and a description of your methodology. We'd also like to see a rough idea about who you'd intend to interview. So you can add letters or emails of support or sort of interview consent. If you know a bunch of people who've said they're happy for you to interview them, then you could add in emails from them or letters from them, or just forward them on to me as part of your application, just to give us an idea of who you might reach out and interview and what your kind of network looks like. So funding is also conditional on receiving ethical approval to conduct these interviews. So we do expect to see some planning of that. I'd expect to see that marked somewhere in the Gantt chart, but don't worry, we are here to help with that. So 2 of the team, including me, sit on their respective faculty ethics boards. So we are well equipped to help you. We also want a full breakdown of the finances. So that's both 80% and 100% with a justification of the budget. don't worry, I have put a full finance table in the application form. It's a standard one that we've used in a lot of different funding calls before, and your EPSRC are used to it, your institution should be used to it as well. And then you'll need to work with your institution's finance department to get things costed up, and they'll know how to handle that. And we do ask for sign-off from the finance department as well, an overall sign-off from your organisation, basically saying that they approve the costings, that what you've put through is correct, because you obviously need to get costing of your staff time, etc. And also implicitly that they would therefore be willing to cover that 20% if your funding application is successful. So this is just a quick reminder of the different types of roles that can be taken in a team. So these will be fully detailed on our website. There are quite a lot of other roles you can have as well, but in terms of this project, we expect you're going to have someone in charge of it, you're going to have people working on it, and you might have some project partners that potentially either going to help with interviews, or you might list some of the people you're planning to interview as partners depending on what's going on and how else they're going to contribute, or you might have people involved that are going to sort of review the work, etc. So however you want to put that together, but those are the main ones, and those will be on the website. In terms of assessment, there'll be 2 stages. The first is going to be a general check just to see that your project meets the application criteria. So just you've applied for a sensible amount of money, you've got all the sign-offs, all the bits are present and correct. All the applications that pass those checks will then be given 2 independent peer reviews by our review panel, and then we'll convene as a whole to review the best applications. There are 4 main assessment criteria points. So again, don't worry, this is all covered in the guidance form as well, so you can read that in depth later, but we are looking at topic coverage and breadth, stakeholder engagement, quality and depth, and planning and management. So do study these carefully when you're writing your application, because that's what all our reviewers are going to be scoring on. So the lucky recipients of the funding will have to liaise with me, sorry, but we will regularly discuss progress with you, and we do expect that you will take part in our review workshops that align with the report milestones, and I will be emailing you quite regularly to just discuss progress, see what's going on. So these are the key dates. So the funding call officially launches today. I will be emailing everyone in this meeting, everyone who filled in our EOI, etc., with all the links, and all the links will also go up on our website, and so there will be links based on the link on the slide. The deadline is the 10th of March. All applications should be emailed to me by midnight on the 10th of March. I'll process them and acknowledge their receipt, and I'll give you a reference number, and then we'll send out feedback on whether you've been successful or not on the 7th of April, and then projects should start by the 1st of May. So that does give us about a month to get all the contracts signed off. So all of the information about the funding call can be found on our website. The documents are going to be added after this meeting. Everything will be linkable by the link on the slide, and there'll also be a documents page popping up as well, and all the documents will be attached to the emails that are sent around as well. So we'll have an application document that you'll need to fill out, a guidance document. Please study that carefully, because that contains all of the different suggestions and guidelines for actually applying. And there'll also be a template single letter in the award agreement, so you can show your university, if they want to see it, what the contract would look like. We're also going to write up the questions from today's panel and make them available on our website, so you can always go back to them later. So I appreciate that's probably been a bit of a whirlwind introduction to the funding call, but I'm now going to invite the rest of the management team to join me for that panel session, and you can address all of your questions to us.